Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Jonny-Rocks Stadium. It's Teamsheet live here for our match in League Two against Barrow this evening. I'm very pleased to say that I've got defender Will Boyle with me here ahead of kick-off. We'll be having a catch-up and a chat with Boyle in just a moment. I'll just quickly run through the team news firstly, though. Ahead of that, though, just one change from the team that defeated Exeter City on Saturday. The lineup is like this. Josh Griffiths is in goal after his England under-21 call-up. The back three is Sean Long, Ben Tozer and Lewis Freestone. The wing-backs are Matty Blair and Chris Hussey. Midfield three of Connor Thomas, Liam Sercombe and Finn Azaz. And up top is Alfie May, who comes in for George Lloyd, and Sam Smith. The Robins bench this evening is Scott Flinders, the substitute goalkeeper. Two academy graduates in Grant Horton and Tom Chamberlain. Then Ellis Chapman, Callum Wright, Indiana Basilev and Andy Williams. Boyle, so there we go. That's the team tonight. Just the one change from Saturday. I suppose the good thing whenever you get the team news through now is you know it's always going to be a very strong side.
Yeah, I think the squad speaks for itself now. I think whenever we've had an injury that could be perceived to be a blow, everybody who's come in has been absolutely brilliant, and it shows the strength of the squad, which I think we knew quite early on as a set of players that we had a good group. So it's looking good, yeah.
And of course, the good opportunity by getting on Teamsheet Live ahead of kickoff this evening was the opportunity to get fans to asking questions. We've had loads of comments coming in. Also some questions that are coming on Facebook. I'll go to the questions on Facebook first for you, Boyle. You mentioned injuries there. Unfortunately, I wish you were not sat outside there, but yeah, out there, out there tonight, and maybe not sat with me, as pleased as I am to have you here on the show. But let's go. We've had a few questions. For example, Kerry Taylor has asked on Facebook, as well as Lee Randall, how is progress with your injury and your recovery from that?
It's a little bit of a slow burner, really. I think I had to, at the start, we made some really good progress with it. I was running really quickly. I've been braced up, I'm still in the brace, and it's a dynamic brace. I could run in it. But plateaued probably the last couple of weeks, really. So I think I've got to be patient with it personally and understand that the body takes time to heal. I think it's not an injury that, when I had the injuries here in the past with my ankle and stuff, I've been able to shave a bit of time off by just working really hard and rehab-wise, and then also playing with a little bit of pain. But this one, I think, I've got to get it right, really, because I was quite lucky with playing at Walsall with it and getting away with it. Really, it could have been a bad injury, and it could have been months, like 6 to 9 months. But thankfully, it wasn't. So I've got to be a bit patient with it, really.
Nice one. Question in from Darren Ewan on Facebook. What was it like being involved in the game against Manchester City?
Yeah, brilliant. I've spoken to you since, and that were probably my career highlight so far. So literally the only couple of downsides last 10 minutes, and also not being able to share that experience with the fans, really. But we keep saying that all year, so we've got to deal with that and look forward to having them back next season.
Ben Hodge, question on Facebook. He says, who has got the best banter in the squad?
Good question. I like Rags. Rags is quite witty, a bit of a comedian, really, in all spheres. I think he can adapt, and in whatever company he's in, he's quite witty, to be fair. Rags.
He is very witty. Also a big fan of The Office. We share many office joke with him.
All right, how about you, Rich?
Let's go to another question on Facebook. This one from Ollie Edwards. He says, first of all, congratulations on the performance against Man City. We hope you're back from injury soon. Interesting question. He says, what is the best bit of advice you have been given by Michael Duff since he became the manager?
I wouldn't be able to pin it on one bit of advice, really. Tactically and technically, he's helped me, and I think all the defenders, enormously. Changed our game, I'd say, almost from scratch, really. I've learned things that I've actually had conversations with the other defenders, and I think we're basically saying how lucky we are, really, that I heard John Stones doing an interview about how Pep Guardiola's transformed his sort of career this year, and the details that John was talking about. We're getting similar stuff in League Two, so we're getting the stuff that the top players and the top clubs are getting, the information. So I think really it's his detail and his knowledge of the game is second to none, I'd say, and it's top level. So being able to sort that up for the last couple of years has been brilliant for me. loved every minute.
Good stuff. Another question on Facebook. This one from Mark Lawrence. He says, "In the days when we had crowds, what was the best atmosphere you have played in?"
The days when we had crowds seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? For probably a bad reason, really. But when we played Portsmouth a couple of seasons ago, last game of the season, they ended up winning the league on the day, and the sort of the atmosphere that went around the stadium as they'd scored, I think, the 55th minute maybe, and it must have gone around the stadium that they were gone top of the league, and the atmosphere was just incredible. You could literally feel it going all the way around. That and probably playing against Celtic. Didn't play at Celtic Park, but for Kilmarnock, we played them at Rugby Park, and they brought about 7,000-8,000, and both behind the goal, both sides, and it was brilliant that day.
Final question we've had in on Facebook. Interesting how you answer this one. Do you think we'll go up? From Robert McNamee.
Well, I might have to sit on the fence here. I think that's probably the most politically correct answer. But we've given ourselves obviously a great chance at this opportunity, and it's something that we set out to do at the start of the season. But as a group now, we are literally, there's 12 to go, and we're just taking each one as it comes and focusing on our points tally, because ultimately that's what will define our season at the end of the day, and you can only do that game by game. So it's a nice position to be in at this stage, but there's still a long way to go, really.
Lots of comments and questions coming in on our live feed as well. We'll just start running through them.
Just seeing John Palmer's
let's go through some of the other ones we've got in so far before we get to John's then.
Okay.
We'll start with Chris Sharp. Interesting one, this one. He says, "My family are from Garforth, where you were brought up. Anything you miss from being up north?"
That's interesting, actually. I should probably say yeah, but obviously I miss my mum and dad, miss my family and stuff like that, and my friends. But the actual place, to be honest, not a lot really. I love Cheltenham, and I've got my girlfriend Sharon down here now as well, so we both really like the area. Unfortunately, since she's been down, we've been in lockdown, so not too much really, just family and friends.
Sure. This question says, "Will, do you think the Man City game has affected the team's mentality?" And this person also says, "Also met you at the open day. You're a nice bloke."
Thank you for that. As are you, as I've probably spent 5-10 minutes chewing your ear off, and you had to deal with that, so you must be a nice chap as well. Yeah, I think, to be honest, the biggest thing probably just instilled belief. We went toe to toe with the best team in the world, probably at this current time, and it's been proven since. So that, I think, the belief, if we didn't get any belief from that, then we'd have been struggling. That's probably definitely affected the belief in the group. Yeah. Nice
one. We've got lots of other comments and questions coming in as well. Let's take out some of those. Stephen Evans says, "Barber or home cut?"
Home cut, actually. But to be honest, mine's one of the easiest ones to cut, I'd imagine. So it doesn't matter. I might stick with home cuts now for the rest of my hair career.
Of course, like we mentioned, didn't we, yesterday, about you taking part in the NHS fundraiser. One of the players who shaved their heads, of course, to raise £10,000 for the NHS, which was brilliant. Let's go for a question from Harry Evans. He says, "What do you think about Josh getting into the England under-21 squad?"
Yeah, it's brilliant for him at this age, because obviously he'll be eligible for a good couple of years in that squad. And some of the names that he'll be playing with, I've seen him flash up on Sky Sports News yesterday, and it's going to be a brilliant experience for him. He's been different class since he's been through the door, and speaking to Scotty about him, really, and the biggest compliment you can give him is probably his temperament. Really, he's been absolutely unflappable. Really, even if he's made what could be perceived as a mistake, he's bounced back brilliantly. So I'm sure he'll go a long way in the game, no doubt about it.
Let's go some other questions that are coming in as well. Does Charlie Raglan go to bed with a headband on? Is the question from the Robins Report podcast.
Well, probably he's started to grow his hair a little bit now. I think he fancies that sort of that Ramos look where he slicks his hair back. So I think he's probably getting the cuts on the eye for effect, really. So he's a bit like that, at times.
That's right. Another question from the Robins Report podcast. He says, "What is your favourite pre-game snack?"
Pre-game snack? Well, I have pre-match meal is generally pasta and chicken. So I wouldn't say I'd snack really before a game. A banana probably. Yeah, pretty run of the mill, really, to be honest.
Yeah. So are you someone who eats a lot before games, or are you someone who actually?
No, I do. I eat a lot. Eat a lot at all times, really. Whenever possible, I'll eat. So.
Yeah, and in terms of the pre-match, in terms of hotel stuff, obviously you get told what to eat.
Yeah.
But for home games, there's the players don't come in to eat pre-match. So is there more your sort of what you choose to have that day? And I know you do like your cooking as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but to be honest, it's just literally about fuel and functionality the day of the game. So it's very similar to a hotel pre-match: spaghetti, chicken, pasta. Sort of, it's pretty straightforward. Really, you just need the body needs fuel at that time. Yeah.
Brad Scarrett says, any winners on the races?
Nah. And I know Brad actually, so thanks for that, Brad. If you've got any tips, mate, send them my way.
Lee Randall says, who is the most clinical striker you've played with in your time at Cheltenham?
I don't think there's no debate really there. Who would I say, Richard?
Moisa?
Yeah, well done, yeah. It's got to be more, no doubt about it. He had an unbelievable season. So it'd be interesting to see what it'd be like in the squad and the team we've got now, working under the manager we've got.
Nice one. Let's go to a question from Matt MS. He says, who is the craziest character in the dressing room?
Craziest character in the dressing room? We were just speaking about this the other day, actually, a few of us saying we haven't got really that many sort of crazy characters, as you'd say. Indies seems like a really good character since he's come in the door. He's brought a lot of energy to the room. But we've got very good characters, but crazy characters is not one that stands out straight away.
Certainly. A comment we've had from Chris House. I don't know if you want to comment on this, Will, or just a general observation. Great opportunity tonight to put pressure on both Cambridge and Forest Green, who of course face each other on Saturday. So obviously, I don't think they're playing tonight. I know Forest Green aren't playing tonight, but certainly a good chance tonight to possibly, if we can, put some points beyond them. A question coming from Travelman 1983. He says, which manager has had the biggest influence on your career?
I've thought about this quite a lot, and to be honest, he's got to be the gaffer, no doubt about it. The detail he's given me what I spoke about earlier to implement into the game has been massive. Gary Johnson gave me my proper real chance, real run in the league, so he's had a big influence in that by giving me the opportunity. But the gaffer, probably I'd say, current gaffer Michael Duff has had the biggest influence so far. Well,
related to the end of that answer, a question we've also had in from Stephen Evans saying, how has Michael Duff changed the dynamic at Cheltenham Town since he's been at the club? How has that dynamic changed from when you played under Gary Johnson, for example?
The biggest thing is probably professionalised, not just the playing side, but sort of every department within the club. He's brought the standards that he's had at Premier League level for a number of years in every single department. So the food's being flipped on its head, which I think Gav and Josh Harris have got a big had a big influence on that, and got to be thanked for that, really. Josh Harris has turned the old squash court into a gym, so the facilities have got better, and also the sort of ownership he's give us as players to sort of police the dressing room and basically set the sort of culture, as they say, is a bit of a buzzword, but around the place and the standards of behaviours that we'd expect. So he's given us a lot of ownership to do that, while also sort of owning the whole process himself.
Nice one, that's good. Another question is coming from Tyler. He says, what moment in time do you prefer the run up to the end of the season or the summer break?
That's that again, sorry.
What moment in time do you prefer, the run up to the end of the season or the summer break itself?
It's an interesting question. I wouldn't like to say either of them are better than each other, to be honest, because you only have this moment, don't you, Richard? So you've got to try to stay in the present. So both.
Yeah, nice one, good stuff. Cozzy78 says, which end of the ground do you prefer to defend and which way do the strikers prefer to attack?
Interesting question again. I've said that after every question, I think. So.
There's some good questions, better than mine,
probably. We obviously normally shoot sort of up the hill, really, but we do get flipped round every now and again. But it's more natural to probably defend the first half this end down here. Yeah.
Cool. Final few questions then, because we have got to shoot off soon. But let's go for a question from Chris House. He says, what is the favourite goal you've scored for Cheltenham Town? I think it's been 20 so far, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there has. Good question. Again, Forest Green, probably, to be honest. It wasn't not for the goal, just for sort of importance, I guess. I mean, we're
platform is set in the game.
There we go, Richard. Yeah, probably the Forest Spring one, really.
There you go, nice one. The Robins Report podcast says, who did you grow up modelling your game?
I like Nemanja Vidic. I really like Vidic. You were around at the time. I spoke about how Gerrard was sort of my hero growing up when I was a bit younger, but then when I moved into a defender, transformed into a defender, Vidic were around at the time and really liked him. John Terry, you can't look past him, although his character off the field has been questioned at times. So, but as a player, John Terry were brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant, cool. Last couple of questions we'll have. This is a good question from Matt. He says, out of all the young loanees, who would you say has impressed you most so far this season?
It'd be tough to pin one down, really. I think you mentioned Josh earlier, and I think you can't really look past him. I think he's been brilliant from start to finish. Josh, to be fair, say Josh.
That's cool.
It's a safe answer as well because he's a keeper, so he stays away from the rest of the lads. You know what I mean?
And let's go for this question from Lee. He says, what do you think of the long throw of Bentosa and why has it been such a successful option so far? Of course, you've got on the end of many of long Bentosa throw this season.
Yeah, well, it's a weapon. It's ultimately the ball ends up the same place as it would as the corner, really, from like different areas of the pitch, really. So I think it's just probably a desire to get on the end of it, really. To be honest, I know Toes and the gaffer said they spoke about it in the summer, but we managed to get a bit of success. I scored a couple, and then from there it's sort of grown, really. So it's just the ball going in a dangerous area and it's pressure, really, and then from there, which teams now talk about it a lot. So it's obviously a psychological factor for them going into the game. They're worried, so which only plays into our hands, really. Yeah, so
good stuff. One final question then. Let's have one final question for you, Boyle. Harry Doxey then. Interesting one again. Who was your favourite captain you've had in your career?
Yeah, I'd say Toes, to be honest. I think it's probably he's sort of grown into the role, really. I don't think he's ever been a sort of a club captain before. He'd probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I know he's captain teams before. But he's definitely grown into the role, and he allows lads to take responsibility while also leading. It's not a sort of a dictatorship, and we have a lot of sort of leaders in the dressing room who try help lads take responsibility, really. Yeah. Brilliant,
good stuff. Well, thanks ever so much for all the questions that have come in. We've still got more coming in, lots of other comments as well I could have read out. Really appreciate that. But we're going to get ourselves ready for kick-off, which of course is about 90 minutes time. Boyle, thanks so much for coming in and joining us for this one on Teamsheet Live. Really appreciate your time answering questions for the fans. I'm sure the fans really enjoyed it as well. A few things before kick-off. Firstly, I should say about the Manchester City shirts auctions. Remember, you can still bid on the shirts that are worn by our players in the Manchester City FA Cup game. That auction ends, I think, at 9:30 p.m. tonight. So make sure you go out online and put in
a reminder that I'm going to try to bid for mine.
Yeah, exactly. Get bidding for yours. So get bidding up until this evening. That auction will end. I should also say, remember, the match programme is available to buy for this game. You can buy the physical copy from our online shop at shop.ctfc.com or go onto the Matchday digital app and download it and view it on there. And finally, iFollow. Unfortunately, we're really disappointed you can't be here tonight because it is a lovely evening. It's been a lovely day, and I'm sure it would be a great setting to enjoy the game tonight. But unfortunately, you can't be here. But we still want you to watch the game and enjoy it as much as possible safely from home. So iFollow is the way to do that. You can still get yourself a match pass if you haven't got one already as a season ticket holder or bought one already. CTFC.com. Go on there, buy your match pass, and enjoy Barrow at home for what I'm sure is going to be a tough game against a team in good form, but what should be a very good evening's football at the Jonny-Rocks Stadium.
Yeah, and just before we go, Richard, there was a little comment there saying, cheers, Richard. Top man, I think that's bang on, to be fair. Unsung heroes at the club, I think sometimes need a bit of a thank you, Richard. Richard's brilliant, so keep thanking him, that's bang on.
Top man, Boyle, thank you very much for that comment as well, very kind. I'm now blushing. Top man, Boyle. Well, thanks very much for joining us online, really appreciate it. Enjoy the match and fingers crossed, 3 points for Cheltenham this evening.
Cheers,
take care of yourselves, enjoy the game.
Fingers crossed.